My biggest motivation, I think, throughout my journey was to uplift my family, to support them because they've invested everything they had in me. So they sold their last apartment to actually pay for my tuition fees in Australia. And they had to move to their grandparents' house. So they basically sacrificed whatever they had to invest in me. They were thinking like, what are you doing? This is cringe. Why are you doing TikTok? This is just for little kids and stuff. I tried to just be calm and be patient and consistent. And that's how it led me to that niche where I thought that could work. And that's where I started that format where I paid for people's groceries. With this, I'm trying to inspire other people to go out there, to go out of their comfort zone, to go and achieve things in life, remove or try to remove their social anxiety, build confidence, and just go out and achieve whatever dreams they want to achieve in this life.
Was there a moment that when you created this content and you didn't publish it because the reaction was probably maybe hostile by the strangers? Did anything like that ever happen?
There was one video that...
Welcome back to the Out of Interest podcast. Moza, we just landed, like I said in the other podcast not long ago, and we have a back-to-back podcast thanks to Hejaz, ruthless man.
Yep.
We landed 24 hours ago from a 22-hour trip.
Not allowed a moment's rest around here.
Man did not even allow us to rest, books a back-to-back podcast, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do, man.
Living on the coffee right
Living
now.
on the I'm actually drinking hot chocolate. Right, I need an extra sugar kick. But
That's it.
our second guest for today, right? Even though it's a new episode, new week for you guys. Our second guest for today, Rustam. How are you, my friend?
Feeling great.
You look tired.
Feeling great, but I look tired.
You look stressed, tired. But if you don't mind, give us a quick intro on what you do. Because I know you're an online influencer, a big one. You have millions of followers on TikTok, a good following on Instagram, massive presence social media. I've personally been following you for a few years. I
Okay.
had no idea he was Muslim. When I first learned he was Muslim, I was like mind blown. I'm like, what? He's a Muslim? So I was like, damn, how's it going, brother? But you also have a cafe just down the road over here. So please do give an intro on yourself, man, if you don't mind.
Okay, where do I start? So, I guess I came to Australia 15 years ago from Kazakhstan, from Almaty, the city called Almaty in Kazakhstan. Been working hard for the past 15 years. Started off as a dishwasher in a Thai restaurant, getting $11 per hour
Over here, Melbourne.
in Melbourne, in a Thai restaurant in middle Brighton. That's my first job, and I had some other jobs whilst I was studying in uni. When I graduated my uni, basically found a job in accounting. So I'm an accountant by trade, graduated from RMIT. And I didn't really like what I was doing as an accountant because I was literally just every morning come to that cubicle, sit down in front of a computer, start calculating everyone else's money except mine. Basically had to and every morning I was like there. After 3 years I was like, what am I doing here? That's not me. I want to go out there and like meet people, socialize and take it to the next level. And that's how I met a guy through our soccer games on Fridays, and he is a strata consultant. So he had a strata consultancy agency. That's how I had the opportunity to send my resume to him. Didn't have any idea what strata is about, and I was like, let me just jump into it and find out what it is about. So that's what I did, and I worked for him for about 5 years. That was a bit more exciting because I work with different committees, with different chair people of strata titled buildings, whether it's 3 apartments or 400 apartments. And I basically facilitated the process of changing from one owners corporation management company to another through a tender process. That's what I did for 5 years, and that's how I acquired my communication skills because I had to present to high net worth people. It was a well-paid job. I really enjoyed it. And in parallel, because I wasn't that confident in my first 2 years of doing that strata consultancy job, I felt like I should do something else. And I always had this interest in making videos through those pranks back in the days on YouTube, all that sort of things. And I always wanted to go out there and film something. And that's what I started with my friend. Unfortunately, friend lost the interest in that because it's quite hard to grind on YouTube, as you guys know. And I found out about TikTok. And on my birthday, I think 2 or 3 days after my birthday, back in 4 years ago, I was like, okay, let me just, because I don't have anyone to help me, let's just go out there and start filming. I put a strap on around my neck and my phone here, downloaded an app that you can hide the camera when you're filming.
Okay.
And basically just went out there and start approaching people and yeah, doing some content from there. And then it wasn't going anywhere in the first few months. I started from scratch, from zero on my TikTok. And then I started to get traction once I started doing the skits, like some skits related to money. And then slowly, gradually, I was pivoting right to left. And then I found that with my friend who rejoined me after losing that interest from
once
YouTube.
you started being successful,
Yeah.
here he comes again.
A lot of people were like laughing at me in the first
Yeah.
few years because they were thinking like, oh, this is, what are you doing? This is cringe. Like, why are you doing TikTok? This is just for little kids and stuff. I tried to like just be calm and be patient and consistent. And that's how it led me to that niche where I thought that could work. And I thought that makes me feel great and happy once I've done it. And that's where I started that format where I paid for people's groceries, go out there and meet different people who I can donate to and things like that. And that's how I guess people loved what I did and started to subscribe and follow me. And then I diversified into Instagram. And after 5 years, I was like, because I quit my job a year ago, after I've started my coffee shop. And I always thought that, because since I arrived to Melbourne, I always wanted to open up a coffee shop because I really loved coffee and Melbourne has the coffee culture here. And that's what I did after like several years. So at one point, I had the consultancy job. I had to wake up at 6 a.m. before I start my consultancy job at 6 a.m. before 10 a.m., go to the coffee shop, set it up, and then go to the consultancy. After work, after consultancy job, I had to go and edit the videos, which I've filmed on weekends. So it was quite a hectic period I had. But I think throughout my whole 15-year journey in Melbourne, I've sort of learned that and built my character because I always had 3 jobs at a time since I came to Melbourne. So when I worked as a dishwasher, I also had like IGA. I worked at IGA as a cashier, and I studied as well in uni. And I had to help one other guy in Geelong. I had to travel there, taking V-Line, freaking 1 hour, which I only got like $7 an hour there. But it was crazy journey. But I think like I'm really grateful for that because, yeah, it built my character, made me more disciplined, more responsible for my things, what I do in my life. And that's how I got to that point where it sort of went to the next level where I started creating content. It was a well-paid job as a strata consultant. And it's no secret because I do say that in my YouTube channel, I was getting like 200K plus a year, which is
It's amazing money.
amazing money for like average Australian. So yeah, that's my journey, guys. I mean, yeah, so I've quit my job a year ago, started my coffee shop, which I'm running for about 2 years on Hardware Street. And in parallel, I'm trying to build my YouTube channel now as well.
Do you regret quitting your $200,000 job?
That's a great question. I think in the beginning, I did a little bit because I lost the income, like stable income, which I was getting, monthly. And I felt really comfortable because as a single lad in Melbourne, getting 200K, it's a great life.
You own the world, man.
Yeah, exactly
Good money.
right. You can just travel, invest, etc. But then I realized that I wanted something bigger than that, and that's why it led me to starting my YouTube channel. And now I have more time to dedicate towards that journey of my life. So
You know, thank you for sharing that journey. You can see, obviously, there's a lot of hustle, effort, discipline, and all of that. What's the strongest motivator behind all that? Because a lot of people are motivated by, let's say, fear of failure. Some people are motivated by the fact that they came from nothing and they want to become something. What's your big motivation?
my biggest motivation, I think, throughout my journey was to uplift my family, to support them, because they've invested everything they had in me. So they sold their last apartment, which was, an apartment in my city, Almaty, to actually pay for my tuition fees in Australia.
Wow.
And they had to move to their grandparents' house. And yeah, so they basically sacrificed whatever they had to invest in me and give me a sort of kick in the back, to just go out there and achieve things, because I had the ambition. I always told them I wanted to study abroad. I wanted to achieve better things than an average like Kazakhstani, whatever. And they believed in me. And yeah, basically from there, they sold the apartment, invested in me, and just let me free to Australia.
Are you the only child?
No, I've got a sibling, which my younger sister. She's now here
Okay.
and studying English. Yeah, so I guess to answer your question, Maza, about my motivation is first of all that, and recently to, I guess, help other people, whether through monetary terms or through teaching them some skill sets, which I'm actually doing now through YouTube. Because as I mentioned, I was not always confident as I am, I guess now. I'm not saying that I'm 100% confident now, but I feel like I am building that through my journey. And with this, I'm trying to inspire other people to go out there, to go out of their comfort zone, to go and achieve things in life, and remove or try to remove their social anxiety, build confidence, and just go out and achieve whatever dreams they want to achieve in this life.
No, look, it's an incredible story because so you came here on your own at what age?
19.
19, on your own. So what were the biggest challenges? I think I can already assume what the answer is going to be here, but what were the biggest challenges that a 19-year-old Kazakh boy finds when he arrives in Australia? Low on confidence, no family, no connections, not a huge amount of money in your pocket. That would be daunting as a prospect to come into a Western country like Australia, where everyone looks differently to you, they sound differently to you, the culture is different to what you're used to. How do you then build a foundation for yourself and say, look, I'm going to set myself up over here?
Whew, that's a very deep deep question there, Maza. Whew. I feel like yeah, that's a great question there.
So for example, like how was your English when you arrived over here?
My English was all right,
Yeah.
because I studied in England for about a year.
Okay.
And then after England, I've studied in Cyprus. So I actually left my home when I was 16. So I was already sort of building my character from that time, even though it wasn't as strong as now, for example. But I think that led me to be a bit more responsible than if I would stay in Kazakhstan. So I think when I went to England for a year to study there, I feel like it made me a bit more confident than I used to be back in like primary school and high school. And then when I went to Cyprus, I became even, I guess, stronger than in England. And when I came back to Kazakhstan, that's when my family had, financial problems, etc. And that's when they sold their apartment to send me to Australia. And I feel like throughout that year, whilst I was staying in Kazakhstan, I decided for myself to that I'm ready to go and explore other parts of the world, like Australia, for example. But I feel like I always had the discipline because my father used to send me to different sports activities like boxing and Aikido and MMA, etc., back in Kazakhstan. And I feel like the sport gave me that discipline as well. At the end of the day, I think it's a mixture of things. I can't really say that there was a specific thing that made me prosper here, so to speak. But I think also, given that I had that push from my family, that support, that believe in me from my family to send me here at 19, not knowing anyone here, just being here by myself for about 2 years. I was literally lonely here. Always wanted to go back, but I always had this thing inside me saying that I can't go back, I can't give up. Even though there were times where we didn't really have money to pay for the tuition fees, and my dad and my mom had to actually go out there and like taxi drive to support me through that so I can pay for the food. And I think that drove me, and I was like, no, I can't give up. I should find any means by staying here. So I had to actually speak to RMIT staff and ask them to pay in installments for the tuition fees. And for that, they told me I had to go to a psychotherapist and like get a letter saying that I'm in a hardship. So I have to actually get that letter for the RMIT guys to approve my installment. So I had to actually go to a therapist and get that letter. It was tough times, yeah. And I think that made me stronger. So yeah, I feel like that's what I can share with you guys now.
How's Kazakhstan as a country? I mean, we watch Borat. If you watch Borat,
That's
from
that's the only thing I know about.
That's the only thing we know about Kazakhstan, right? Some lunatic from from there goes to America, causes havoc, right?
Yeah,
Talk
heard that a lot actually.
man.
Yeah.
That's what people know about Kazakhstan at the end of the day. Nothing else.
It's like ruined the image, I guess, for Kazakhstan. So talk about Kazakhstan.
I mean, it's not. I feel like some people think it ruined the image.
Okay.
But at the same time, it sort of made it a bit more famous or
Put
prominent.
on the map, yeah.
around
exist.
different countries all over the world, and the tourism sort of spiked over there because people are wondering, is it really the fact that you go there and it's like a village-based country or something like that, or quite underdeveloped? It didn't really affect me much, but at least they know the country now. Because before they wouldn't even have a clue. Even though it's like number 9 country in the world by the size of it, I think it's number 9 in top 10 basically.
Okay.
And it's like literally in the center of the map, and it's quite large, right? It sort of resembles Australia a little bit, because around Kazakhstan, we have the cities like Australia, and the middle is quite empty, and it's all steppes and stuff like that. But I definitely suggest you guys to visit the country one day.
No, I'd love to visit the
a lot of money there.
Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan,
Yeah,
and
it's
whatnot.
developing quite rapidly.
Yeah.
And even the content creation, I feel like it's on a different level than here. And people make a lot more money, for example, if they would be in my situation where they have like 7 or so million followers on like TikTok and Instagram, 500K or something like that. So yeah, that's why, because I met few content creators there and influencers, and they were telling me the stories and how they make money, etc., etc. It was quite interesting to hear.
Coming back to the whole Kazakhstan and influencers make good money there.
Yeah.
Is it because I guess TikTok pays them? Because I know in Australia, TikTok doesn't have a creator fund,
Yeah.
right? Does Kazakhstan have it?
Now they can
Right.
monetize content on TikTok, and it's quite weird that you can't really monetize your content in Australia
Yeah.
because it's quite a developed country, right?
Mm.
First world country, but it's so weird like how lagging it is in terms of like social social media content creation, etc. That's why a lot of guys who have potential, they go to US, for example. Like some of the guys that I know, which I've grown with in content creation, they all sort of travel to US and make content there rather than here. Because I feel like, obviously it's understandable, it's like 300 million people over there and only 25 million or so in Australia. But I still feel like there's a lot of room to grow for Australian content creation. And you can like literally count who is quite famous on YouTube. Laser Beam and who else? The Misfits or something like that actually making some waves at the moment. Who else is there? I'm not even sure. But in US, you can literally like, you have infinite amount of content creators there who are like known around the world.
Because I've seen videos where a lot of TikTokers share how much money they make on their millions of views, right? And I was doing the maths in my head on your views, right? I'm like, if this guy was in America, he'll be rolling around freaking security guards so the Chinese don't get a hold of him at that point. Like, that's how much money you would be making with the views you were getting. And there's a lot of money in TikTok, right? A lot of money in TikTok with the views and whatnot. And have you ever considered looking at moving to America and doing similar content there?
I once did consider, but I think it's for a later stage of my life. I love Australia and I want to stay here for the next, 5, 10, 15 years or so, and try and put Australia on the map in terms of content creation. Maybe it sounds a bit too
ambitious.
too ambitious, but that's my goal.
Because we find that struggle as well, right, for podcasts. Like, there is no big podcast in Australia. All the big ones are in the US and the UK and whatnot.
Europe.
That's it.
Yeah.
Australia's always this forgotten child when it comes to content. And like you said, when someone grows here, they move. That's just how it is.
Yeah,
there's no money.
There are
here.
larger markets elsewhere.
a bit small for them.
Yeah, but in this content creation world, like for yourself as a creator, which platform do you consider to be the one that, okay, once I've mastered or once I'm like making it big on this one particular platform, then I've really made it? Is it YouTube specifically, or is it TikTok? Or, from your perspective, what's your benchmark?
From the whole journey that I had to go through for the past 4 or 5 years, I've been creating content. I've been really working hard on my TikTok account and then Instagram account. But then after like 4 or 5 years, I've realized that that's not the go. The go is YouTube, as you mentioned. It is a harder grind. It is really hard to like come up with the ideas, long form content. And I'm talking about shorts. Shorts is like basically like TikTok and Instagram. But if you do put in the hours, put in the effort in creating long form content that will resonate with locals, and by locals I mean focus on a smaller market first before you go everywhere else around the world. Just create that niche, work hard, grind on YouTube, get those loyal fans who will actually not die for you, but like be really loyal and authentically loyal. Compared to like whatever you have on TikTok and Instagram, which are like not as loyal as you would like them to be. For some probably they would be loyal depending on what kind of content you make, but I think majority of the loyal fans come from YouTube, and then you grind on your TikTok and Instagram. So the YouTube platform should be your main platform. That's what I believe in. And then you diversify into all the other platforms, whether it's Snapchat, whether it's, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Reels, etc. So
Yeah, but you know, recently, I'm sure Ali's seen this as well. The Australian government's now banned social
Yeah.
media for kids under the age of 16.
Mm.
So all of a sudden, yeah, you didn't know that, did you?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't
so
know that.
so if you're going to focus on Australia, that's a big consideration because there's a lot of people out there, like this younger consumer base, who are they were born into Insta, TikTok, and all that kind of stuff. They're very comfortable using it. They use it a lot. But now by capping it and saying, look, it has to be above the age of 16,
Wow.
that's another subset of eyeballs that used to come onto your content that will stop now.
Wow.
So again, but
It's
YouTube is
narrowing
available
the-
to them.
yeah.
Right? They can keep on using YouTube.
Narrowing the audience at the end of the
Yeah.
day. Mm.
And YouTube is you're right, it's crazy powerful, man. Like especially if you're appealing to a younger demographic on YouTube. Geez, these kids are on that 24/7 just watching stuff all day, all
100%.
night.
And how they look at you
Yeah.
compared to how they look at you as a TikTok or a Instagrammer is completely
Yeah.
different. I feel like you're an idol
Of
when you're a
course.
YouTuber.
Really?
Compared, yeah.
Oh mate, YouTube sensation
It's
so and so
crazy.
becomes this, whereas TikToker. Oh, it's
Yeah.
a TikToker.
It's a TikTok guy, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. TikTok
That's
is
always
it's
sort of-
cheapened the
Yeah.
branding. Oh, you're
That's
just a
al-
TikToker.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
So that's always
there's a lot of stigma around that.
exactly right.
Yeah,
So
I'll never forget when I parked the car and I went in the elevator and there was a guy, I don't know, you'd probably know this, Wade. You know the guy that does work for Sportsbet and things like that? The AFL guy? I think that's his name. He was in there and I looked at him, I'm like, he was a TikTok guy. I felt like he got so, like, it was like a rude thing that I said. His face dropped.
Yeah.
He looked like he was offended.
Yeah.
But he just put on a fake smile. I was like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh shit, I think I like offended this guy calling me a TikTok.
is it that guy who gives a reaction? Like just
He does reaction stuff.
just like
and
a
things
poker face reaction?
Yeah, yeah,
on
that
things?
one.
Ah,
That's the
yeah,
one.
that guy.
That's the one. Him.
Oh,
And yeah, I feel like he got insulted when I said TikToker because that's just how it is though. He's
How
a
dare
TikToker.
you.
Yeah.
But it
You don't get
cheapens it. It's like
as
because-
much respect
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
as if you would be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And because a lot of people have realized that, look, the barriers to entry for TikTok are next to nothing.
Next to nothing, that's
Like
for sure.
anyone can really, as long as they've got a bit of creativity and like you've done, remain consistent with it, you'll crack the TikTok market. But we had what's his name, Ramus, on the podcast
Ramus,
as well.
yeah.
He said the same thing, right? He's now moving, and we can see through
Yeah,
his
he's
content,
on
he's pushing
YouTube,
really
yeah.
hard on YouTube,
On YouTube.
long form YouTube. He's like, that's the holy grail. If I can crack long form YouTube, then okay, I'm set.
You made it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which he's doing now. I think he has
It
like
is.
50,000
He's doing well.
subs or
He's
something.
doing well. He's doing well.
You
So-
should probably like move to Sydney at this point because that's where the bigger YouTubers are.
Man, I love Melbourne, man.
like stuck to
I've been
Melbourne.
to Sydney a few times. I don't feel the,
The coffee
vibe
doesn't
there.
cut it there, man.
Yeah, the coffee is pretty shit.
It's all about the
Just
coffee.
But yeah, Melbourne. I wanna come from Melbourne rather than Sydney. That's
What-
like where I've grown. You know.
Melbourne is better. Melbourne is better
Yeah.
than Sydney. I'm not gonna lie. When coming back to your TikTok, because I've watched you for quite some time, and where did that idea of paying for people's grocery come from?
I think one day we were just in calls with my friend, and we were already doing some skits before then on TikTok. And I think back in the days when I was like 17 or 18 or 19, back in RMIT, back in uni, I did watch some videos on YouTube on a Russian market, on Russian YouTube. And there was few guys who inspired me. There was one guy walking around the city and actually buying off stuff from different street sellers and basically just giving them money for the whole thing they have there, whether it's flowers or nuts or whatever, and just tells them to just keep it. So I think the inspiration came from there. And one day there was an opportunity to do that, and we were like, why not? Let's just try it out and just pay. And then since then, I was trying to do it in every Ramadan period, and yeah, it sort of made me feel great. And if you have never done it before, I suggest you do it and see how you feel. It's an amazing feeling to see like how people react and how they put a smile on their face even though their day was shit. So yeah, I felt
None of it was staged, right?
no.
It's a very big
No,
question on
not with
social
that,
media. A lot of
no.
people
Yeah.
go like stage.
Those are definitely not staged.
Where and then when you tap and then walk away, it's like card declined, and then you got the content. Like none of that.
I think some content creators try to do that joke around like decline cards, but so far no, nothing been declined as far as I'm aware. Oh no, actually, I was doing a promo, an ad for some other crypto business or something like that. They were making the cards, and you can pay with cryptocurrency, and I think I didn't verify my card or something like that,
Right.
and then I tapped, and it didn't go through, and I
Yeah.
feel embarrassed. I was like, all red. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? So I had to take out my card and pay for the groceries, and then it all went well. So, because the stranger there who was actually buying those groceries, he was confused what's going on and why is it declined. He was embarrassed as well at some point. Shit, and that was an embarrassing moment, but at the end of the day I did pay for him. And we just part our ways from there.
Was there ever a moment where the stranger got hostile, and like, was there a moment that when you created this content and you didn't publish it because the reaction was probably maybe hostile by the stranger? Did anything like that ever happen?
There was one video that I made. I basically paid for the guy's groceries, and you know how you have those videos where guys only get flowers at their funeral and stuff? And then I tried to give him the flowers. I don't know if it was cringe or not, but I just wanted, it was from good intention. And just gave them the flowers. He didn't accept that. He didn't really like it. He threw away the flowers. He was all like raging there. And I was like, oh my God, that is not the video I want to post. He was angry and all, shouting there, etc., etc. And that was one of the moments where I felt pretty bad, to be honest.
You didn't publish it?
No, I didn't publish it.
Oh, come on, that'll be gold.
No.
You have to publish that now. It's such a good video.
From virality perspective, I know it's a viral content, but I don't want to
Ruin the image.
defame that person as well. And I want to, There was a few moments like that. One other moment that was with a grandmother, like in her 70s, I guess. I was walking past her, I dropped the money, and I was expecting her to pick up the money and give it to me. But she didn't.
She took it.
She took it. And it was all filmed, man. I was like, no. I was behind the camera with the cameraman. I was like waiting for her to actually call me and give it to me. And she just I think she dropped the newspaper and
acted it out.
Yeah, acted it out.
What a legend.
I was like, oh my God, no, please don't pick it. Give it to me. Give it, because I wanted to pay for her groceries if she did a good deed.
Yeah.
And gave it back to me, but she didn't.
Well, that probably paid for her groceries. Either way,
I know,
you
right?
did.
Well, it was
Either way,
only
you did.
$10 though. It was only $10.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, excuse me. And I went back there. I was like, excuse me, I dropped some money here. Did you see anything? And she was pretending that she's not looking at me, like trying to ignore me and stuff. I was like, oh my God, no, please. I feel bad. So I never uploaded that video either because, I mean, it is what it is. You can't really do anything about, people's nature sometimes. Different human beings are different.
When you're going about shooting all this stuff, how do you go about selecting who your target is, that person? Do you feel that you get a better reaction out of a particular gender or a particular age bracket, or how do you go about figuring that out?
In the beginning, it was pretty hard, but sometimes it's just the feeling inside me. If I feel that I need to pay for that person, I just go and pay for him. But I was going to that particular calls quite a few times, and then I made some friends there, like with the staff, and because majority of them are Muslims, I think. And all those security guys, etc., and they worked there for a few years, right? So they know who really needs it.
Okay.
So they would, after like several Ramadan months, they started telling me, okay, this guy really needs it. This person is a really great person, has a great soul. You could try and pay for them. And that's how it sort of rolled from there. So I know if I go there, I know the people there, they're accepting me there, and they're happy for me to pay for some people's groceries and guide me to who I should pay for. So that was quite handy.
Because you'd probably assume that like you'd get a better on-camera reaction from maybe women than men, maybe.
I'd think that too.
Yeah.
But again, he's
I
the
think-
pro. He would know better.
I think one of the most viral videos were with men rather than female.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the video that got 100+ million views on Instagram was guy, and then another one which was over 50 million views was with the guy as well.
Okay.
Mind you, just off topic, 100 million views in America. I think it's like $40,000.
Mm.
Man, that would be crazy.
But anyways,
Because
just
you can monetize your content on Instagram,
Yeah.
on TikTok, in America,
And
Like you-
Snapchat.
and you can monetize here in
Snapchat, yeah.
Snapchat as well, which I'm doing now. But yeah, if you would add Instagram and TikTok and all that type of platforms, it definitely would be well off.
yeah, it'll be very, very well off.
Because here you can only monetize YouTube, Facebook, and Snapchat.
Mm-hmm.
Snapchat through the stories these days, not Spotlight anymore. And Facebook is obviously from the views. And YouTube, as you know, guys, is monetization, brand deals, and things like that.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. Not gonna
No,
lie.
it is.
What's
But-
the most memorable video that you've done?
One of the most memorable one is where I was, I think, in Woolies. Might be Coles, I don't know. Any of those stores. And one guy was literally crying that I paid for his groceries. He told me that in his 80 years of his life, never ever someone done it to him. I felt so bad, so I had to like stop filming and just go and just come back to my senses after that, because I felt so sad. Like I felt so bad. That's I think what pops up in my mind right now. I mean, 80 years and no one even helped him. It's crazy.
How much, if you don't mind me asking, how much are the average balances of these groceries that you pay?
I think it's ranging from like $20 to like $150 or so.
Have you ever like
Few.
paid for the high and then be like, shit, I regret it?
Oh yeah, overpaid.
Oh
No.
damn, man! $150 notification.
To be honest with you, I've never regretted like even single cent that I paid for people, even though they were not grateful enough.
Right.
I still didn't regret any of that, even if their reaction was no good, and if there was a situation like with that guy who threw away the flowers. Even if I didn't post it, I sort of never had the feeling of regret, to be honest. Like it just goes. Whatever goes out comes back to you. That's what I believe in. So whatever I give, one day, sort of in one way or another, comes back to you. Because everything is sort of circling around the universe, and I believe in that. So yeah.
You know, how much do you attribute that philosophy that you have that you just described to your upbringing and your background? Because a lot of, the parts of the world that you've come from is very sort of, giving, charitable, family-centric. Whereas a lot of societies like the States or Australia, a lot more progressive Western societies are quite individualistic. It's like everyone takes care of themselves. That's it. You don't really see... You see it on the streets, unfortunately, as well. An elderly person carrying their groceries, you can see they're struggling, but who will actually stop to help them? You won't get it that
Really,
much. But in
yeah,
Kazakhstan,
really
you'll see it. So people
You
will
do.
stop and say, look, you know what, I'm younger, I've got one hand's free, let me help you, so and so. Do you feel that background, that upbringing is what has pushed you to have that more charitable, open-hearted nature?
I feel so, yeah.
Yeah.
And my upbringing and nurturing from my parents as well. They always taught me to give and help others, even though it's not of a benefit to you. They always said to just help. And I think that seed sort of grown in me, and that's how that came about now. That's how yeah, I've been nurtured basically.
Kazakhstan's a Muslim country, right?
80%, 85% of people there,
A
of
Muslim.
population there is Muslim, and then all the rest like Baptists and Christians and
Right.
Catholics. There's a lot of Russian population there, and again, it resembles Australia a little bit because there's so many nations there throughout, like from the CIS region, whether it's Russian, Ukrainians, and Kyrgyz and Azerbaijanis and Turkmenistanis and all that type of nationalities. And it's sort of similar to Australia because we have a lot of different countries here as well and nationalities.
Mm. How is it? What's the difference? Or can you shed some light on being a Muslim in a Muslim country and being a Muslim in a non-Muslim country? You know, what are the differences?
Well, I've never had to worry if it's a halal
Yeah.
place or not in Kazakhstan.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's pretty much a norm there. But here, you can't really do that. Like, because everywhere you go, they sell pork and ham and whatever it is. And I think that's the biggest standout that I had to realize when I came here, or England or Cyprus. Because now I have to worry about it, you know, where I go. But other than that, to be honest, I feel warmer in my country because you're surrounded by the azans and a lot of mosques around you, beautiful like big mosques. Whereas here, you don't really see that much. And if you go to a mosque, it's like a house or like a apartment building which you go to and then pray there, right? That was one of the other realizations that I came to when I went to Western country. Because it feels warmer when you hear the azan, you know, it's really heartwarming.
Yeah, no, like we travel a lot. You know, coming back from Bahrain just recently and going to a Muslim country and food, obviously a big one. Like you could eat anywhere and it's just halal, you don't have to worry about it. But also mosques everywhere, the azans played out loud. Everyone that you see is a Muslim. Everyone has the same belief, the same culture, the same, I guess, manners, right? Everyone has the same thought process. So
That's it.
you do feel a lot warmer, right?
It
Everyone
is,
greets each other
definitely.
with the salam, right?
Assalamu alaikum, yeah,
And
things like
and the
that.
Western media makes it look like, you know, the Muslim countries are like terrible and blah blah. But when you go there, it's like
completely different.
It's completely
Yeah.
completely different. And that like when I share that with my non-Muslim friends and people, and the first thing they say is like how Muslim countries are not safe, this blah 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 blah. Pretty much whatever the news says, right? And when you try to explain to them how that's all wrong, they find it so hard to believe, right? It's like what are you talking about, right? It's too good to be true. But
Or they assume that because you're a Muslim, you get
Biased.
that treatment.
Yeah, you're
or
just
you're
biased. Yeah.
And if a non-Muslim were to go there, but again, we travel through the Middle East, and the amount of expats that live over there now, Dubai and all these places, so many people from Western backgrounds living over there in bliss, in harmony. Like there's no, you don't get ostracized, or in fact, you probably get better treatment half the time if you're
100%,
carrying a
especially
foreign
as a
passport,
Western,
really.
yeah.
So
I think that's one of the other things I wanted to, I guess, change a view of through this content creation journey I've been going through, paying for people's groceries, especially during that Ramadan month. For people to realize that it's not all about like terrorism and stuff like that, that Muslims have a deeper like mindset and deeper soul to actually go out there and help others. But yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to Westerners to like realize, not whatever you're saying that they take from the news and stuff like that about Muslims. So
it's like a form of dawah,
yeah,
preaching.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different way
It's
of
a
doing
noble
it.
cause.
It's a different way of doing it.
Yeah.
It's a big mission though.
It is.
It's very hard to change people's
It is.
mind.
And the
Yeah.
TikTok followers are a byproduct of all that.
Yeah, it's a crazy world out there, man. But it makes me question why you would even want to move to Australia. To be honest, like we're looking at moving away from Australia, right? We want to go back to that Muslim environment. It's just you feel at home, and then do you miss that sense of being belonging there?
And to add to that,
Of course.
would you bring your parents here? How would your parents fit in over here? They'd probably struggle.
They really want to come here
Yeah.
and they want to live here, but sometimes I feel like they don't realize
Yeah.
what the culture is here and how they would actually fit in, because obviously all their friends are back in Kazakhstan and all their relatives and stuff. When they come here, it's only me, my sister, and them. That's pretty much it, right? So let's see how it goes. I really want to bring them here and see how they feel, and then basically just take it from there, whether they want to continue staying here or go back. Because my parents always wanted best for us, and I guess that's why they wanted to send us to a developed country to get a better education than whatever is at home, and then one day maybe come back and share that knowledge with everyone else who's there, whether it's by opening a school or things like that, basically. So I feel like it's a great experience to experience a country which is developed to where you came from, and then, you know, share this with either the world or the people in your country. So yeah, let's see where that brings us to
Yeah. Now,
later in life.
we spoke about your cafe quite a bit. Alien and Coco.
Alien and
How did you come up with that name? What's the alien? What does that got to do with it?
Pretty simple, actually.
All right, let's go for it.
Well, Russ Alien is my social media name. And why Russ Alien? Because I am an alien here. I am a,
Oh, come on.
I am a foreigner at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'll never be accepted as a white dude because I'm not white. You know what I mean? No disrespect to anyone, no offense, but like that's the reality of it. So, and also because I am a citizen here and I love Australia, it does rhyme with Australia, Australian, Russ Alien, Australian. So I feel like that's why I came.
It's a bit of a long shot.
That's how I came up with that name, and then we basically, because I did open my coffee shop with a partner, 50-50.
Okay.
So her puppy's name is Coco.
Her pup is...
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
She loves her, and then we just combine the name basically, Alien and Coco, and something new, something different. And yeah, that's...
I personally, like, I've been intending to visit ever since the whole, I met you,
in Sydney.
right?
Oh, really?
A few months
No way.
ago. I'm like, I need to visit there. I still have not visited there.
Same.
And I feel so
I
bad.
promised
that's alright.
him on the yacht that
Yeah,
I'd be going there.
Because it's halal cafe, right? It's halal. And it's so hard
not-
to find.
halal certified as
Yeah.
yet, but we're striving to that. Obviously, we don't have any pork or anything like that, and most of our options is halal, as confirmed by the suppliers of our meat. And but we're striving towards that because we're still quite small and it's sort of considered as a takeaway shop. And it's a little bit hard in the beginning to get those minimum orders in because every supplier has a minimum order, right? You have to buy a certain amount, and then if you don't sell it, obviously you can't do anything with that product. It just perishes. So we're striving towards that, but yeah, let's see when we can get the halal certification. I've already brought it up with my partner because most of our meat is halal. Hence, I was like, why not we just make the halal certification? Obviously, it's gonna take time, and it's not that easy as far as I understand, and as a new person in F&B. But yeah, hopefully soon we can get.
Well, these are
Halal
halal certifications.
certification.
Just get one of these halal bros in.
Yeah.
Let them do some of their content stuff, and then you're unofficially halal anyway. So
All right.
you don't need to
I
go
already
through
spoke to them about that. Yeah.
You did?
It's all
Yeah.
When are they coming over? To your
I'm not
place?
sure. They said once you're halal certified,
you're
we'll come.
kidding.
Come on.
Oh, bloody
But yeah. So yeah, guys, that's
It
the
costs money
story.
though, no? To
I
to
think it
get-
doesn't cost that much. I think it's like basic like registration fee or something like that, 5 to 1,000. But like the whole process of them coming, approving, looking where you actually do your sandwiches and everything is like, clean and stuff. I did read about the process, and it feels like it's gonna take some time to do that. So
You just can't be bothered, huh?
for now, I'm trying to, cause like so many things, man, going on. I have to do the content creation for the shop, content creation for my personal pages on TikTok and Instagram, content for my YouTube channel, and you have to obviously edit all of that by yourself, and editing takes a lot of
I
time.
wanna bring up something
All right, let's do
Right.
it. Let's go.
on your latest reel.
Okay.
Is that the halal money card that's blurred off?
It is. It is.
Did you see it? Did you see it, Mazhar?
No, I didn't.
So he has the halal money card blurred.
Because
He's just hinting, saying,
Yeah,
pay me,
pay
I want
me
to
for
work
this.
with you guys.
no.
He's
It's
saying, I
not
want to
about.
work with you guys.
So next
Just
year,
open up your
Ramadan,
wallet.
next year, Ramadan, when you're paying for people's groceries and Coles.
No,
and
no,
Woolies,
we're going to talk to him. I
Yeah,
already
yeah.
told the team. We're going to
use any other card, mate, you're gone. Seriously. None of this crypto
decline.
business.
Decline.
Yeah.
Actually, it is halal money card, and I did because I got that $500, right? $500 on the account, and I basically went to Bali and withdraw that money, like half of it, 250K or something like that, $250, and basically made some content out of it. And I felt like putting card there would be a very seamless, smooth integration, but algorithm doesn't like it on TikTok. And when it spots that, it basically doesn't push out your video as it would usually push
Okay.
out.
Right.
So, especially that I'm not like posting content very regularly. If I probably did post regularly, like I used to every day, or at least like, once a week or so, then I probably left it there. But I felt like that's not the right time. So I still have like quite a few content there in the pipeline with halal money card
Right, okay.
in there.
We get the message.
Blur
Loud and clear.
off.
Understood.
All right, no worries. I'll,
Understood.
I got your bank account
Yeah,
details.
we'll pay, man. Just unblur it.
No. It's not about that at the end of the day. It's just, yeah. But let's see how it goes. Let's see with the next few videos that I have that I'm currently editing. So
No, we'll work together.
Yeah.
I already instructed the team to get in touch with you about those things. But do you have any other questions, Wazan, before we wrap
I
up?
was going to ask about the cafe business, right? So you're a new young entrepreneur. You're starting off in the physical business, F&B, hospitality, tough industry.
What does F&B stand for?
food and beverage.
Food and beverage.
I'm asking for the viewers' sake, okay?
No,
For
he
the
asked for his own
viewers'
sake.
sake,
I've seen that blank look a few
food
times. The last
and
few days people have
beverage,
mentioned
guys.
F&B and Ali's just
Food and
blank.
beverage.
Just food and beverage. For those that don't know,
Yeah.
I knew this.
Oh, bull. Yeah.
Don't worry, I didn't know about that either before I started the coffee shop. So you're not alone, Ali. It's all
So
good.
what's the biggest challenge for a guy set up F&B business in Melbourne CBD and you're new to all this? What's been the biggest lesson learnt that you're like, oh shit, I didn't know that before?
Realizing how hard it is.
Yeah?
How hard it
What's
is
the hardest
to
part?
manage staff.
Okay.
How to manage like stock. And the biggest challenge was keeping the consistency going. It's like with everything else, YouTube, TikTok, you always have to stay consistent with posting. For example, on YouTube, you have to be like, if you're posting once a week, you have to keep doing that every week, because the algorithm picks that up and then just remembers you as a guy who posts once a week at that particular time. So exactly the same thing with my coffee shop. You have to stay consistent with the coffee quality, because the next day the customer comes, he drinks the coffee, doesn't like it, he never comes back to you, because so many other different options. Keeping up with the competition, because on that hardware street and hardware lane, there's heaps of coffee over there. Like on our street, on hardware street, it's literally like 7 coffee shops, and you have to stand out from the crowd. And all those guys there are like wolves, you know what I mean? Like dinosaurs. They've been there for ages. They know the game. And I'm, as a young lad, like trying to get into that space is quite challenging. And yeah, those are the biggest lessons I had to go through opening up a coffee shop, and realizing that, again, like TikTok, Instagram followers, not as loyal. That's another thing I realized. Even though I still have people coming to my shop from my social media, etc., but it would, I'm sure, 100% or maybe 99%, that if I had YouTube and I had 7 million followers on YouTube, that would be a completely different story.
Yeah.
I'd had a line lined up like up until like Little Lonsdale Street or something like that, even further than that. That's how like David Dobrik, for example, opened up a pizza shop, I don't know, 2 years ago or something like that, and his line was crazy, like ballistic. So things like that. So yeah, consistency, managing stuff, being disciplined. You can't be late, right? Your coffee has to be ready and set up by 7:30. No questions asked, no excuses. You have to be there at 6. Because it's not. What I've realized, it's not easy to set up a coffee. Like you have to actually adjust the grind, make it coarser, make it finer, put the dose at the right amount, and things like that. It's quite a lot of work there, and the consistency of sandwiches as well. Stuff you can't really control them by the minute. You have to literally check if they put the rocket in it or the sauce in it, because without the sauce, the sandwich becomes quite blunt, quite plain, and the customers won't come back. So the consistency is the great lesson again I've learned from running a coffee shop, and managing the staff, and standing out of the competition, making sure the content is coming every week on the same day, on Monday, for example, in my case. And those are the challenges I had to go through, and I feel like it made me even more disciplined to I don't know what else to say there.
I mean, it's always people, isn't it? Staff is usually
I know, right?
biggest pain in the ass.
What if you undercut everybody else and started selling a $4.50 cup of coffee? Because these days we're paying what, $6 for a cup of coffee? Or is there a coffee cartel out there that says, hey, you cannot undercut any of us, otherwise the dinosaurs will come after you?
Not that I'm aware of at this stage, but there was one coffee shop that did that in Melbourne Central. They were undercutting and were selling coffee at like $2.50 or something per cup. I did try it. It wasn't that great. And I feel like people get what they pay for. So I feel like the quality has to be at a higher level. Hence comes the price for it, the price tag. And people will come to you and pay that price, whatever it is, like $7 or $6 for a coffee, to get that quality. Because there's so many competitors out there, and if your coffee is shit and then people are not coming, you're not making any profit out of it, and making profit on this is quite low, right? It's quite low profit margin item that you're selling. So you're basically working on the volume from there. Hence why if the price is right and the quality is right, people will come back, meaning that you'll have frequent customers, regulars, and that will be the backbone of your business. And then you work on top of that through social media, content creation, and get more customers from there. But I believe that I don't want to look cheap, because when people see $250 coffee, they already assume that it's not like, good quality coffee, right? Like you don't want to be competing with like 7-Eleven or something like that, where you have like $2 coffee there. Even though they're uplifting their game, but still people go to 7-Eleven because it's quite cheap, like mostly students, etc. But I want to target the market where people have money and they want to spend $5 or $6 for a good quality coffee, and they get that every time they come to us. Same as with sandwiches. I don't want to be selling $12 sandwiches and make shit sandwiches so that people just say, oh, it's just a 7-Eleven great sandwiches there. I just want to make good quality sandwiches that people are willing to pay for, and then they can come back, even though some people think that, it's quite expensive, and that's okay. There's market for everyone. That's what I've realized for the past few years running the coffee shop. So that's my take on that for now.
Makes sense.
All right. Any other questions, brother?
Well, the next thing is we need to go and check out there.
Yeah, no,
actually need to go there.
we will.
So
We are
today,
gonna do it this
lunchtime,
week. This week we're gonna
Let's go.
come. What days are you there?
I'm there on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
We can do Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, we're in Sydney. But Wednesday, we can
Wednesday we are
Wednesday?
coming
All right.
with
Too much pressure now.
Wade,
do. It better be good.
and we are gonna be a very big critic on this one.
Yeah.
That's what I need. constructive feedback,
Yeah.
so that we can improve from there.
He's a big Karen,
Oof.
right?
Really?
I'm the
Okay.
resident. If I don't like it, I'll send it back.
We need Karens who would
Mate, if
probably.
I don't like it, I'll send it back. Trust me.
He's,
all right, let's go.
Big
Shit.
ass, this
Yeah.
one.
All right,
I'm too
I might
nice.
take.
He's too nice.
I'm too nice.
I might take a day of that. No, I'm just kidding.
You won't get anything from me. I never send food back.
He'll never come back again, right?
I will complain about the food. Yeah, this is terrible. As soon as the waiter comes, how's the food? Yeah, it's fucking amazing food. I'm great. Send another one.
Is that why you're getting the coffee from different places? Because that one is better.
This
or
is a
what?
new place he's trying out, man. I don't know.
It's so good.
Is it good?
Spyglass. Spyglass is good. Have you tried Spyglass?
Spyglass.
Really?
You don't like it? Too weak. A bit stronger,
Time
yeah.
is
But the
disgusting,
thing is, I
man.
like the stronger coffee.
You don't like? You like?
So
I like the stronger
bitter.
coffee.
you
So
like
if your
Very
coffee's
bitter.
stronger, hey, you got me, man.
Yeah,
I
right.
like strong coffee.
Okay. So you're getting two
As I
shots in
say,
that?
man, there's no such thing as strong coffee, just weak men.
I don't like coffee.
He can't,
don't-
he
I
can't
don't
take the
like-
That's where
bitterness.
you get hot chocolate.
I
Yeah?
get hot chocolate. I'm not a big coffee guy. I only drink it
To stay awake.
if yeah, I don't know. I just drink it just for the sake of.
like a Red Bull though, from time to time.
I prefer V over Red Bull.
V,
but
okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
is your coffee strong?
I like it strong.
Yeah. Which means you make strong coffee, which is good.
Yeah. Number one coffee for me is in Patricia, even though I run my own coffee shop. Have you ever tried Patricia on Little Burke Street?
No.
They put 2 shots in 8-ounce cup.
Oh, really?
It's quite strong. When you sip it, the first
Yeah.
sip is like, oh my God, it's incredible.
Good stuff.
So I guess there are places where I get inspiration from, like Patricia, even though we're not at that level yet, because they've been running for at least 10 years, and they're like coffee-based primarily. 2 shots, oat flat white, that's my go. And yeah, stronger is much better. Even though we only put like 1 shot in 6-ounce cup, like it's a small cup, and 2 shots in a 12-ounce. But we want to go towards that end of making stronger coffee like Patricia and get one size, 8-ounce, 2 shots, makes it strong and just keeps it consistent.
Let's do this. 8 ounce, 2 shots, and call it the muzzer. Everyone can just order the muzzer. That's it. Happy days. My
That's
signature
it. Oh
coffee.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Done. Yeah, it's on camera.
It's like
okay?
magic,
just
yeah. It's
done.
like magic, but muzzer.
Yeah. Happy
Let's
days.
go. Let's go.
It's on my bucket list. Have a coffee named after me. Done.
Let's
The
go.
muzzer.
How much you get like on average likes per video on YouTube?
Change depending
Heaps.
on the guest.
Yeah.
Depends on.
Has
the
it
guest.
been a crazy grind? Like how hard it is? Because I am.
Some guests get a lot more than others. It just depends, to be honest.
Right. Okay. So you've been running for 2 years now.
Yeah, man.
What's the most challenging thing you've realized through your YouTube journey?
Oh, he's flipping it back on us now. Jeez. Okay.
We get
If you don't mind.
The biggest challenge, in terms of what?
In terms of running the content, being consistent, creating the ideas and like creating the questions out and like scripting it all
The
out.
biggest challenge for us has always been getting the right guests and being consistent with that.
Oh.
But since Wairos, we've been okay.
Yeah.
So
But you gotta understand, like, one other thing that we're always mindful of is that our podcast is attached to a larger business. So we have to be, like, there's many guests that he and I think about, like, oh, that'd be a great guest. But then you got to think about, okay, what's the overall brand implication for the group? So we can't have very, very colorful characters on that chair because that hurts the broader ecosystem. So there is that commercial overlay that we have to be considerate of. If we were if it was purely a content outlet, yeah, you could bring anybody
we
on.
will
Anybody
do
on,
all
yeah.
sorts of
You
things.
can do all
So you have
crazies.
to be quite selective,
Yeah.
right?
So even the skits, the stunts, the this, the that, blah, 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 you got to be careful with it because there's a bigger sort of strategic play.
100% with you on the same page
Yeah.
there. Even like with my personal brand, I have to be careful on what I produce now because it can affect the business and the brand of it.
Yeah.
So
Because let's say, for example, you go and pay for somebody's groceries and they've got bags loaded up with BWS and grog and this and that. You'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, crap, my
Yeah,
brand's
Happy
gone.
Ramadan
Yeah.
is just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a whole bunch
Yeah,
of
Exactly.
alcohol.
There goes
Yeah.
Rustam, the Muslim
Yeah.
kid, out the window.
yeah,
Cancelled.
exactly right. So
You
you,
gotta
have
be
to be
careful.
really careful and
Gotta be really
selective,
careful.
especially if you have the bigger picture
Yeah.
in the background running. So it has to be like, as you said, it has to be like the brand, but a good, friendly brand
Correct.
that people can associate with. Okay.
Leave it over here.
Great
I think
chat.
so.
All right,
Yeah.
Rustam, thank you so much
That
for
was
coming
amazing.
on, man. And I wish you the best in all your endeavors, your content. And I guess me and Maza and Weras will see you on Wednesday
Done.
for a
Sounds
nice
good.
cup of Maza.
Right.
You were stressed for nothing. See,
Yeah.
friendly chat.
Friendly
mate.
Yeah, that was
chat.
amazing actually. Thanks
Just
for
be
having me,
stressful
guys.
on Wednesday. Wednesday is the real stress.
Quality check, yeah.
But
QC.
thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you guys did, give us a like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff helps us a lot. And visit Alan and Coco. Not halal certified yet, but it is halal apparently, and really good coffee. So we'll see you on Wednesday.
Sounds great.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
Let's go.
Thank you.